All right, welcome to another episode of She Conquers Dirt, a Bauer Power Hour series. Charlene and I have a great guest for you guys today.
Yes, we do. Thanks, Avis. Cora is on tonight, and I am excited to have her share about everything from being an expert in gears and metallurgy to manufacturing, and somebody who has also competed in King of the Hammers and competitive rock crawling.
Yes, so great. We're going to bring Cora up in just a second, but until then, please don't forget to subscribe, like, hit that notification button wherever it pops up on your screen. We would really appreciate it, and it keeps you up to date on what's happening here.
She Conquers Dirt features the stories of incredible off-road ladies associated with Ladies Off-Road Network. Bauer Power Hour can be found on YouTube and your favorite podcast outlet. Now buckle up and let's roll.
Hi, great. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Hey, why don't you take a few minutes and tell everybody about yourself?
President of Torq-Masters Industries. And Torq-Masters has a family of brands. We manufacture locking differential and drivetrain products, and we also have ventured into overlanding and camp cooking. So our family of brands is Aussie Locker, Torque Locker, Torq-Masters chromoly axle shafts, and ORIS Adventure Cooking. I acquired the company in 2014 and have been expanding it ever since. I have a number of patents now. We have a couple of websites. We have our own machine shop, and we're always looking to expand and innovate. So from the intro, I have competed in King of the Hammers in the stock class a couple times. I've competed in the Rebelle Rally. I'm an original Rebelle, and I also won the Rebelle Rally in 2021. We started nights and weekends. I used to get into rock crawling and started competitive rock crawling with my now husband. That was back in 2008, 2009. And our title sponsor was Aussie Locker. And the owner of the company was in our local 4x4 club. And so just formed a relationship with him. And when it came time that he was looking to retire, I was in a good position in my career that I could step up and buy the company from him. So the products are not a startup, but I was a startup back then because I was an architect. I didn't know how to run business. But luckily, my husband was there. He was a business owner, and he taught me the ropes. And I took a bunch of classes, and now been successfully running the business for 11 years.
There's not a lot of people that know you like I do, Cora. So, where do you live? Tell us about your awesome husband and your furry friends.
Our home base is currently outside of Rochester, New York. My husband Eric works with me. We have an awesome black lab named Petunia. She's a therapy dog. She is great. She travels with us all over the country. And then I have Nathan. He's my 18-year-old Norwegian forest cat. He stays at home and he doesn't travel in the RV with us. I don't think we could do that. Charlene could travel with cats, but I don't know if I could.
Okay, let's do our first full throttle favorites rapid fire questions. That is a mouthful for me, but here we go. Are you ready?
Yes.
Excellent. What was your first car?
It was what we called the diaper because of the color of it. It was a 1980 Mercedes diesel wagon, and it was a lead sled. It couldn't get out of its own way, but it was safe.
We're gonna circle back to that color thing in a second. What is your favorite food?
Nachos.
What is your music of choice?
Right now, yacht rock.
Yacht rock. Okay. Are you a prepper or a last minute doer?
Definitely a prepper.
Early morning or late nighter?
Early morning.
Well, that was fun. So, why do we call the car the diaper? Is it brown or is it white? I really need to know.
It was Gouda colored yellow.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm a mom. That makes sense.
And like, and the seats were like terrible fake leather.
But it was safe. It was safe. That's what's important in your first car.
But my next car got me into off-road. The next one was a Nissan Xterra.
Okay. I've always liked those. Those are super cool. What color was that one?
Silver.
Silver? Okay. Because they came in a really cool yellow color as well. I was just wondering if that was going to be a theme.
That's
Okay.
definitely not a theme. Green is our color.
Green is your color. Good, good. Favorite yacht rock? Favorite music is yacht rock. What is that? What is yacht rock?
It's like 1970s and 80s kind of smooth rock. A lot of it has to do with sailing or being on the water.
Which we might as well talk about that right now too. So you got yourself a boat.
Technically, it's a motor yacht.
Yeah. We're not talking any kind of rowboat here, Avis. We're talking like this massive boat.
Nice.
A few different ways of going out and adventuring. So tell us about why you decided on a boat.
We just wanted to mix it up a little bit, and also we saw it as an opportunity to expand the business. People that off-road, a lot of them also are into boating. So with off-road, with power sports and marine, I think that blends pretty well. So yeah, we were looking for an RV on the water.
And what's your goal with going out there? What do you want to do with it?
Well, first things first, we are on the Erie Canal here, and the Erie Canal just had its 200-year anniversary. And so I'd like to do the whole Erie Canal. But then once I started looking at that, now there's America's Great Loop, which is a 6,000-mile loop around the country. So
sounds like the true adventure seeker friend, huh?
Yeah.
Around the country. Okay. Sorry. I'm not up on water, but I know you could go through the Panama Canal, but where do you pass through in the north?
So the Great Loop goes along the entire East Coast and then goes up the Hudson, across the Erie, across the Great Lakes, and down like the Tennessee River, the Mississippi, and snakes its way out to the Gulf that way. So it's going around half the country, but I mean, it's quite the adventure. And there's a whole association, and like you can see other loopers, they're called, on the map. And so you can connect with people in little towns and go out to eat. And I think
That sounds
it'll be
amazing.
cool. Yeah.
So we get to call you a looper here pretty soon, hopefully. Because I mean, honestly, like that's a rad name at that point, right? To be in that category.
Yeah, and you get a little flag, and on your first loop, you have a white flag, and when you complete it, you get the yellow flag.
Is there something like that on ground here that we should be doing? Like, as we all travel to the different states, how many states have you been in? Have you hit all 50 yet?
No, I'm missing. Well, in the motorhome, I'm obviously missing Hawaii, but Alaska and a couple of the northern states. But I mean, like the Trans-America Trail, that would be one in the dirt. Our friend Aaron Brown did that, and he was doing like a trail to SEMA a couple years in a row in like 1970s FJ40. So he did the Trans-America Trail, he did the Continental Divide. So those are some epic. Oh, the Oregon Trail. He did the Oregon Trail too.
Do you have any of those on your bucket list? Is that something that you want to do, or we're moving into water now?
My brain's a little water focused, but I would love to see the Oregon Trail.
Oh, on the yacht loop, being a looper, is that something that you do all in one shot, or is it kind of like, some people hike the Appalachian Trail in sections? Do you do that? How does that work?
Basically, you're on your own journey. So there are people that will start and stop. Some people take 2-3 years to do it. And one guy in a little John boat just did it in like 19 days. So, or 30 days, I don't know, but very quickly. Like,
so a John boat, that's like a little fishing boat with a little tiny motor. And wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not down for that. Maybe in a giant boat, but not a little boat. Wow.
Oh,
I didn't even know like bigger boats could go down the rivers like that. Like all the way down. That's crazy.
There's lift bridges.
Okay. Yeah. I guess that makes sense.
This whole water thing's a completely different podcast.
Sorry.
For all of us dirt people, back to She Conquers Dirt.
Well, she does both, though. She does both. Okay, we'll talk about some dirt. You said in 2021 you won the Rebelle Rally. So tell me, what class was that in? What vehicle was that? How many times had you run it before then?
Original Rebelle, so 2016 and 2017, we did that in my stock class Ultra 4 Jeep. And then I was invited back in 2021 to drive for Ford in the crossover class with a Ford Bronco Sport. And that time I was the navigator, and the first two times I was the driver. So it was taking a leap of faith and trusting in my drafting skills that we could nail it, and we did.
Nice. Congrats. And how did you like that, switching from driver to Navi?
It was a little bit tough, but we knew that I might be the better navigator. We did have a strategy from previous is I would drive the enduros and she drove everything else, and that would give her a break.
I know several teams do that. Which do you prefer, driving or navigating?
Both.
Let's talk about King of the Hammers. What was your guys' scene there?
So this was pretty much right after I bought the company. We did have a Dana 60 model in design. That's our new torque locker. So we were still going through the patent process on that. And I wanted to prove it to the off-road world that a mechanical locker, drop-in style locker could race King of the Hammers and survive. So my husband and I, we built a stock class LJ from a salvage vehicle in 60 days. And we put our Dana 60 lockers in front and rear, and then took it to King of the Hammers and raced it. Didn't have any issues, any mechanical issues. We just timed out. And now they've changed the rules for adjusted time. But being stock class, you start at the end of the line, basically. So we were sitting at the start line for an hour and a half. And then finally, we raced our race, and they shut us down at the last checkpoint. But they don't do that now. But yeah, so then we came back the next year, and we did have a couple issues and didn't finish again. So then we also raced in 2018. And then we raced a Can-Am. My husband and his co-driver raced the Can-Am X3 because we had just come out with a product for that differential. So, with coming out with so many new products over the years, we've built a lot of vehicles.
So that is something that I think is a really cool theme to talk about right now, is you have so many different products across the different lines. And I've seen you jump into all of these different vehicles, Subarus, UTVs, etc. How do you manage that? Like, how does that become something that you decide, oh, we need to get into the Subaru market now. Let's go buy a Subaru. Like, how does that work for you guys?
A lot of it really is just feedback from potential customers. And we've made custom differentials for like a Toyota Corolla from the 80s. We made a custom differential for Kubota tractors for a guy in Switzerland. So basically, it's pay to play. If you want this custom diff, it'll cost you $3,000, but you'll get 10 of them, and you can sell them to your community. Sometimes, it really takes off, like the Can-Am. That in 2017, that grew our business by 34% just in that one part number. And so that was a home run. They're not all home runs, but you're making a market when there's nobody there.
We need to take a time out here and do a vocab check. So differentials, let's describe to everybody out there that's listening that may not understand differential, locker, all those words. Like, bring it to the Cora description of what that actually is for everybody, please.
Okay, so my basic description, I say, have you ever been stuck in the snow or the sand or the mud and only one tire spins? So regular four-wheel drive only spins one front tire and one rear tire. That's an open differential. So if you take the gears out of the differential and put our gears in, then both rear tires will always spin. And that's an advantage off-road, because if you lift a tire in the air, which does happen frequently, all the torque goes to the tire in the air, and the tire on the ground doesn't move. So when you put a locker in, it'll turn both tires on the ground and in the air, and you get true four-wheel drive if you put one in the front and you put one in the rear.
Okay, so I have a deeper question than that because I am not a technical, I understand everything that you're explaining. So, but when in the vehicles I've had and I've had locking differentials, I have a button that I push. Does yours, do you activate it manually or does it activate on its own?
So our style is fully mechanical and it works automatically. So you don't turn it on and off. It just works automatically.
It decides when it's coming on and going off.
Yes. Yeah. So
Cool.
our style will ratchet when you go around a turn, and that helps you turn better. But you're never going to slip a wheel.
A locker, what it does is it essentially creates a dowel pin in between the two tires. And so now we have constant rotation on both. So a four-wheel drive vehicle is actually truly a three-wheel drive vehicle. If one tire's off the ground, there's three tires that get the power. Lockers create a dowel pin to where now if one tire is off the ground, we now have constant power going to all four technically. That's a great thing. So true four-wheel drive is when there's two lockers installed front and rear. And Cora is just like the master of fun talking about lockers. And it's so awesome too, because as a woman, I think, some people are like, wait, one, you know about lockers? Two, wait, you own the business that deals with lockers? So how do you feel about that, Cora? Like, how has that conversation come out?
We do a lot of vendor shows and events. So we're very forward facing and we talk to a lot of people. And I get the whole range of people that are afraid to even make eye contact because they see gears on the table and gears are scary, to people that are super open. They just want to learn about the products. They'd love to hear that we're made in the USA. We get the full spectrum of people.
I did have another technical question. When you were explaining your locker, you said it allows ratcheting so if we lock them together, the wheels are spinning at the same rate. What does ratcheting imply? That one can spin a little bit? Can you explain that to me?
With the selectable lockers like you've had before, when you turn them on, the locker essentially turns into a spool, which means it ties both tires at the same speed. Whereas our locker allows for wheel speed differentiation, and it does that through ratcheting. So like a ratchet wrench, how it goes click, 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 our lockers do that too.
Okay, that's what I thought you meant, but I just wanted to really understand that. That's super cool.
So one of the things that you've done in creating your business and going forward and being the master of all, Torq-Masters is USA made.
Yeah, absolutely.
You get to be in the shop and you get to work with your people and you get to see how it's all done and make sure that there's that quality assurance before it goes out.
Yeah, absolutely. And with my architecture background and engineering, I can read all the drawings. I can, make technical changes. My engineer handles all the machines. We're very automated. And my engineer, he's great. He's got a similar work-life balance. So he'll set up the machines. They're going to run for 12 hours. He's like, I'm going to go for a dirt bike ride. Come back, and there's all these finished parts, and the machines are doing the work for him.
In the intro of all this, I talked about how you're totally into metallurgy and about metals, and we talk about, different types and how it works and everything on the side. Give everybody a little rundown on your brain and metal.
So we use 9310 alloy, which is very good for gears. It's very durable, and it's pretty expensive. So our competitors are all made overseas, and they're using 9310-ish or 8620. 8620 is cheaper, it's easier to machine, but it's not as durable. So we truly are using the best material for the job. And then we heat treat our parts, and they come out about Rockwell 60 for the hardness, and we through heat treat as well. And that just gives a very long life, especially because our gears run past each other when they're ratcheting. So you want a very durable material that won't chip away over the years.
So to explain deeper into the numbers and what that really means to a normal person and heat treated, like what does that mean?
9310 and 8620, those are alloys, so they're blends of different metals. The 9310 is high in molybdenum.
The higher the number, the better the metal, or lower the number, the better the metal?
Higher the number, the more durable the metal. So like Rockwell 60 is pretty hard that we heat treat too, but it's almost as hard as a drill bit, but it's a couple steps down. So it's not as brittle as a drill bit, but if you keep that analogy in mind, that's about as hard as our gears are.
Nice. That gives me a good working idea as something that I come in contact with. So that's great. Thanks.
So, you know, the queen of lockers over here and the queen of metallurgy all of a sudden decides to like cook bacon in her booth and get into the ORIS cooking plan. So tell us about why and how you got into that whole scene and the excitement behind it.
Well, everybody eats.
Especially bacon.
Yeah. I like that. To the point. Everybody eats.
We do a lot of overland shows. We do a fair amount of overlanding ourselves. And I've been cooking on the ORIS cast iron scuttle for like 8 years. It's my go-to. I love it. I don't carry around a tote with pots and pans and all this stuff anymore. I just have one apparatus that can do a lot. Our buddy Ryan developed it, and I believe I had one of like the first prototypes even. I still have it. And I love it so much, I wanted to buy the company. And he was at a point, like he's kind of like a serial entrepreneur. So he's got newer stuff that he's developed and is selling. And the ORIS, now I can see from my perspective, it's kind of a pain in the butt to ship because it takes a big box and all this stuff. And now he's selling smaller parts, which are easier to ship, and it just makes sense. So he was at a point where he wasn't really in love with it anymore. And I had approached him a couple times to buy the company. And finally he was like, yeah. So now we've taken over the ORIS company. We're bringing it to overland shows. We're doing overland expos. And it's just like blowing people's minds. And it really is a better mousetrap when it comes to camp cooking.
I've never had a scuttle. So just, is it hard to clean?
No. So what is a scuttle? So
Let's start with that.
Yeah. Scuttles were developed in South Africa. Farmhands would weld up plow discs and cook over a fire. A couple of years ago, Timbo Tusk came on the scene. They made their own portable one. They use a carbon steel pan. Mm-hmm. And then Ryan came up with his version, which is cast iron. And what's really cool about ours is the pan itself you can take off and you can still cook over the fire with it. But then you still have your 10,000 BTU burner on a stand where you can put a pot, you can put a coffee pot, you can put a wok. And then we also have a high output version where you can just unbolt the 10,000 BTU burner and bolt on a 60,000 BTU burner. And we have a stability grate that goes over that. And then your camp stove just became your party stove. You can fry a turkey in it. You can do a crawfish boil, large format cooking. So brewing beer or canning. So it's really versatile. You can do so many different techniques with this stove. So I've challenged myself of what can't I cook on it.
Nice. I like that line of thinking. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to have to check that out. I just have never, like, my view of a scuttle was just so narrow, and what you just explained is just so versatile.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. I learned something today. I learned a few things today already.
I hung out in our booth for a while at the last Overland Expo, and I just kind of sat in the back, and I'm like, "Oh, I can cook everything now." That's where the bacon joke comes in, because she's like, "Just doing enough bacon to get everybody's senses to walk
Yeah.
over to her beef is super intelligent.
But it works. Bacon and peppers and onions. So I do like a Philly cheesesteak quesadilla for lunches when we're at the shows, and I let the peppers and onions cook for like an hour, and people are just walking by like, "Ooh, that smells good."
Mm-hmm. I will just follow my nose at the next expo, apparently, and I will find Cora.
Yeah.
All right, let's do our second full throttle favorites rapid fire questions. Are you ready, Cora?
I am.
What is your favorite trade show or event that you attend every year?
SEMA show, hands down.
Where do you like to work? Rank in preference: shop life, office life, trail life.
I do it all.
Okay. What's your favorite?
I think my favorite is in the RV when we're driving across the country.
Right, double work. Right. Your favorite part of your job?
The travel and the friends we've made.
What is the least glamorous part of your job?
Ooh, cleaning up return lockers that are full of gear oil, which they're not supposed to do.
If you could design any part with no budget limits, what would it be and why?
I would be interested in designing a transfer case.
What's preventing you from making a transfer case currently?
Well, currently, and for all of time, we've been running advanced adapters carts. So I wouldn't want to step on their toes, but I think it would be a good engineering challenge. That's why.
What do you think would make a better transfer case? Like, what do we need to make it tougher?
I feel like it's already been done. Like the products that are currently on the market are substantial. I just think it would be an engineering challenge for me, but I don't want to come out with one of those products. But I just think it would be a good challenge.
Yeah, all the gears and gears and gears. Like, people have no idea what's inside of a transfer case and how it works. Give everybody a quick rundown on what a transfer case even does. Let's go to vocab for a second.
A transfer case in a four-wheel drive vehicle, they have a transfer case after the transmission, and what that does is it in two-wheel drive sends all the torque via the rear drive shaft to the rear axle. When you shift into four-wheel drive high or low, then it sends all the torque, or 50-50 torque, to the front and rear axle via the drive shaft.
You want to know something super crazy that I just learned? Is the Sprinter vans, their transfer case sends 2/3, 67% to the rear, and 1/3 to the front. Which is why they're actually putting in different transfer cases now, the Atlas, in order to get closer to the 50-50. Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Subarus have a center differential. They don't have a transfer case. And Subarus, the torque bias changes, but it's usually like 70 in the front, 30 in the rear. And so that gives them better fuel mileage.
When I moved out here to Southern Utah, I was introduced to twin sticks, and I haven't driven one yet, but it's on my bucket list. So what is with twin stick, and how is that different than what you're talking about now?
So I've built my own twin sticks on a Dana 300 in my old CJ. And what it does is you have two levers for front and rear. So you can put the front in high or low, and then you can put the rear in high or low. And from the rock crawling days, you can do a front dig, which you just put the front in, and then you gas it, and you kind of pivot around.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, there's
on my bucket
also
list.
neutral. Yeah, so there's power in front and rear, and then neutral, so it takes it out.
Mm-hmm.
And so exactly that. Like, you have power to all the front or power to all the rear, or you can put power to both. And in the rock crawling world, it totally matters because you may be on something and you're all sideways, and the last thing we want is power in the rear. Actually, we just want our fronts to climb and our rears just to drag up behind it.
Yeah. It's super cool. I can't wait. One day I'm going to find somebody and I'm going to be like, I need to drive your car, please. Let's go.
What's your like proudest hell yeah moment? Come on, give it to us.
Winning the Rebelle Rally.
Of all
All
the
right.
things you've done, that's it. That's like your shining moment.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I worked hard to get there. It took many years to get there. And it's a huge
Yeah.
accomplishment.
Yeah, we've all done the Rebelle. It takes a lot of work. Do you think it's the thing that you've worked hardest for?
I'd say I work every day, and building business is work. But as far as events and competitions, that would be the highlight.
What about in work? What about in industry? What about in your everyday life?
My first utility patent. I had a bunch of design patents, but those are easier to achieve. The utility patent is really the rock solid one. And we have a couple of those now.
And then to the other end of the spectrum, like, what was the moment where you're like, oh, crash and burn, and that was a heck of a lesson I had to learn?
I think during COVID, everybody was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen with businesses? So I tried to pivot into making face shields, and I couldn't get them like FDA approved. So nobody wanted to buy them. I had lined up all the materials, done a lot of like prototypes and how can we make this American made protection, and it didn't pan out.
So what was the lesson you learned from that?
That getting certifications is very difficult. It took me 2 years to get my woman-owned business certification in New York. Like I think I did almost like 400 pages of documents.
Wow.
To prove that I bought this company and I own this company.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize how hard it is to get all the certifications that we have behind our names and what we have going on and what that really means, and the effort and the energy and the commitment and the statement that goes behind it, you know, from every different level.
What's your next goal?
Next goal is moving into marine products.
Right.
Yes.
Looper life. Right.
Looper life.
So
I like it.
with my Starlink, I can work anywhere.
So what would be your advice for a younger woman, or any woman really, trying to get into the industry today?
Ask questions. Get to know people. You're never going to get there if you don't ask first.
Yeah. Did you have any particular like female mentors coming in, or did you just sort of make your way?
Early on, I took a class with Charlene, my husband and I. We took the racer marketing school because we were building our Jeep to race King of the Hammers, and I wanted to put together a good marketing proposal to approach companies for sponsorship. So I took her class with two hats on: the hat of the racer looking for sponsorship, but also the hat of the business owner who was getting approached for sponsorships. So that was something I knew nothing about, you know, being an architect. I could write a nice proposal, I could design a nice deck, but I didn't know what metrics to put in and all that stuff. So her class was great. I recommend it if anybody is looking to build their own marketing proposals.
Yeah, number one key is keep the window nets inside.
Yes.
That's what always comes out of the class, Avis. It's hysterical.
The window nets go inside. Okay, I'm ahead of the game here.
Yeah.
I already have the end result. I already know.
If we learn nothing else in the class.
I hear Charlene in my head when I see somebody go by and their window nets down.
Is you're part of the SBN, SEMA Business Women's Network.
I've been on the SEMA Business Women's Network select committee for the last 6 years. And we host an event at the SEMA show. It's a networking event for young women, students, racers to network with women in the industry. And a couple of years ago, I came up with a game for the girls to play to help break the ice. So we give them a bingo card, and they have to meet an engineer. They have to meet somebody who paints. They have to meet somebody who works for Ford. And that helps them break the ice and network across the room. So that's one of my favorite events at the SEMA show. I've been attending that for 10 or 11 years.
Wow.
Yeah, this year you guys made those questions really hard for those poor girls. I found like the hardest one on there. I'm like, I can help you guys with this one. You can find other people that can do the other ones. One of the questions that I was asked in that room that night, which I think is really intriguing, is what would you tell your younger self?
Just do it.
Yes. Progress over perfection, right?
Yeah.
Here we go. Our last set of full throttle favorite rapid fire questions. Are you ready this time?
I am ready.
All right. What trail or area is still on your bucket list?
I haven't done any of the really badass rock trails in Arizona.
What coworker trait do you value the most?
Just the willingness to help.
What is your secret superpower in business?
It's my to-do list.
Ooh, I like a to-do list.
Yeah.
What is the best advice you have ever gotten?
Do the hard thing first.
If your career had a theme song, what would it be?
Sailing.
What is the next skill you want to master?
I want to learn Spanish.
Oh, cool. Me too. But that's been on my list for years.
Yeah, me too.
So I want to hear about this to-do list. Tell us your secret. Give us some pro tips. How can we be better? Because you should see mine.
So I've been doing this for years. I keep my inbox sorted to unread.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never miss an email that way. It may take me a couple days to get back to something that's not urgent, but I never lose an email. Yeah, and I email myself 12 times a day. So my husband and I, we even have like a code when it's like a task for Cora. It gets 3 asterisks and then the subject line.
I like that. I will text myself. I have not yet emailed myself. This could be better though. I'm just a tree killer. I write everything down on paper, so I'm antiquated.
Yeah, that's what my office says too.
Yeah.
No more Post-it notes. I don't use them
No
anymore.
more.
There's like notes you can do on computers that look like Post-it notes, like the fake ones on your screen. I don't do that, but I know some people like it.
I'm trying. I'm really trying to get into the digital phase, get off the paper phase, and do those digital Post-it notes. Because I can categorize it, and they're like by color, and but then you got to go in there and look at them. That's the problem, right?
Yeah. I wanted to know sailing. Is that like a new theme song since you've entered the boat era, or has that been like?
Yeah,
yes.
it's like quintessential yacht rock song.
Okay. Yes, I know this song. What would have been your theme song for like your younger years in business when you were like just really getting into your first business?
No, so like for me, music in the background is all about like relaxing music because I deal with enough stuff every day that I want something chill. I'm not trying to get pumped up because sometimes I have to deal with people that are very pumped up. In a good way or a bad way, unfortunately. So yeah, I like chill.
So is chill like classical?
No, so my chill out is literally called chill out, like on Pandora. It's kind of like mellow electronic.
I can get into that.
And I try not to listen to anything with words. Because
right? It's distracting.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're supposed to be typing an email and you're singing. What is that?
That's me. So I think we share a theme song though. On the road again.
Yeah.
Going places that we've already been.
I am not gonna sing. I'm not gonna sing.
Oh, we should have that segment coming up. And now let's sing the theme song.
That's all Charlene. That is not me.
Oh, yeah.
Cora, would you sing with Charlene?
No,
No.
I'm not a singer.
No.
You're on your own, Charlene.
Well, nobody wants me to sing either. Trust me. Yeah,
but
not it at all.
You're the only one volunteering, so here we are. All right, why don't we get into our wrap up? We got a few last minute questions for you. What do you do? Like, do you have a routine for the end of the day?
Well, we're not that exciting. We just watched some TV, some YouTube. Recently, we've been on a boat kick, and there's one guy we'd like to watch called like the Captain's Coach, and he does like transits for people, or he'll teach people how to run their boat and all this stuff. It's slow enough that it puts me to sleep.
So the big question is like, how do you turn your brain off at night, right? Like, how do you finally shut down? What's your trick?
Well, it starts with cooking dinner on a typical night. We do a Green Chef, which is like a food delivery service, and they give you like the instructions and everything, and they give you a time, and I'm like, I can do that faster. Or like, do this step first, not that step. Like while the chicken's cooking, then I'll cut up the onions, So
competitive through and through, this one.
Yeah, she races Google Maps too, I guarantee it.
So winding down equals inside competitive nature coming out.
I guess so. But
strategy.
It's a total switch from daily work to focusing on something completely different. And it's easy, it's fun, it's healthy. So
you enjoy cooking?
Yes.
Nice.
And I enjoy eating too.
Well, yeah.
So, but onto that note, because I think this is something that is actually really cool also, is you guys, when you travel, you do a lot of harvest hosts.
Yes.
And you are gluten-free. And so you are continually trying to find like the cool stuff across the country.
And we're 75 feet long. Or our shorter setup, we're 56 feet long.
Wow.
So trying to find a place we can fit that has gluten-free options, and bonus, dog-friendly. That's like the trifecta right there. Oh, nice. Harvest Hosts. So what is Harvest Hosts? It's a club that you can join. It just has a yearly membership. And then lots of businesses open up their parking lots to RVers. And so a lot of times it's breweries, wineries, restaurants, museums, farms, churches, and if they have the room and they join Harvest Host, you could stay there for free, but they do recommend that you now spend $30 at the business. And so like we stayed at a farm once and they didn't have anything to sell, so we just Venmo'd them $30. It's my favorite way to travel and to stay on the road. It's not like a crowded campground. You're still spending money at a campground. It's a lot nicer than a Walmart parking lot or a truck stop, especially when you have a dog. But yeah, I highly recommend it to anybody out there that's RVing. And the caveat is you have to be self-contained. Yeah, we've stayed at so many different places, but I think the most unique one was an Atlas II missile silo in Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
This has been awesome, Cora. Everybody, please be sure to subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and now you can enter to win. We have all kinds of good stuff that we give away during the days of giving in December. Cora, you have any last words? Tell everybody how they can connect with you.
Okay, you can check us out at torqmasters.com or scottle.com. And then on our socials, we are Torq-Masters and ORIS Adventure Cooking. Facebook, Instagram. We also have YouTube, a lot of how-to. on our YouTube.
All right. Well, thanks so much for sharing, Cora. We really appreciate it. I learned a lot. I don't know about you ladies, but I learned a lot.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Cora. We really appreciate it. And grab more perspectives from other amazing ladies at She Conquers Dirt, a series by Bauer Power Hour. We'll see you next time.
Get an entry into our week of giving by watching. One entry per episode, must complete the form and click submit. Check out this next episode. It's pretty exciting too.